Think you crazy, say you hate me. Time play crazy like why you hate me. You pray for better is what you asking for. I give you better than what you asking for.
All right, hey, welcome to Barbershop.talk Barbershop. This is the podcast where the topics are determined by the conversation in the barbershop. Now, we're located in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're in the studio out the way. Now, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my co-host, and that is KC.
Thank you, J. Rod. It is a pleasure to co-host Barbershop.talk podcast here in Out the Way Studios. The dismantling of our government has hit full stride as Trump is implementing Project 2025. He said, I don't know anything about it or what it meant. Then he hired Stephen Miller and Company, the authors of the blueprint. We must stay aware and do our part. And we need Republicans and the media to show some heart.
You know something, KC, before we get started on the show, we normally like to talk about some events that we have attended.
Yeah.
So we was invited, that's right, Barbershop.talk podcast was invited to a cigar bar, and it was located at 3981 East 82nd Street in Indianapolis, in the zip code of 46246. Now, what side of town is that, KC?
46240, that's the Northeast.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
40 is right in front of me, and I missed it. But you're absolutely right. It was a great place. But you know my highlight of the bar?
What's that, J. Rod?
The cigars. I just kidding. No. But it was the cigars because they had this room, right? And this is the room. And you walk in, you see this just walls and walls of cigars. Now, I'm not a big cigar smoker, but I was able to give the man my preference. I wanted something mild that didn't leave a bite. And he selected a very mild cigar. And in fact, Casey, it even tastes and smells like apple pie.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not a smoker or a cigar person either, but it's amazing the variety and the different styles they have. But the favorite thing I liked about that visit, J. Rod?
Well, I probably can tell you because your superb service that you received as soon as you walked through the door.
Yes. Now, I was the last one of our party to arrive. And as soon as I sat down, I was greeted by a waiter who had a cigar waiting for me. He clipped it, he lit it, and handed it to me. And it was before everybody else had been offered their cigar. So that was superior service. Apparently, he knew that Barbershop.talk was coming there, and he was trying to cater to us.
Well, that's absolutely right, because I know for a fact here in Indianapolis, we're becoming a fast-growing podcast and very recognizable on the street, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Very recognizable.
But of course, I did tell him that I was J. Rod in case there was a bill involved.
Yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. Now, I do have to get a shout out to the group that we normally hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
It's several people. Now, if you listen to our podcast on a constant basis or from time to time, you might even recognize some of these folks because you see the person in the back with the cigar that's Mr. Fill In, and that's his real name, Fill In. He was a fill-in host here on the podcast.
Right. When I was on vacation, thank you for holding down the seat, Mr. Fill In.
Oh, he was hilarious. And then we have KY. That's the guy from Kentucky.
Yes.
Right. And every time we say KY, we just like to put that reminder out there. We're not talking about the jelly.
Or chitlins.
Okay. And then we have, of course, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing I got to tell you about Tom and Jerry, Casey. I heard that he was an outstanding golfer.
Oh, he's out. He is.
Yeah.
He is. I've been on the course with him a few times, and he's given me a lot of pointers. And, we probably have done maybe 80, 90 holes together. And I've never outshot him on a single hole. So.
You probably never will either. Hey, it's one other thing I do want to give a shout out. Now, we had a guest here on our podcast over time. Her name is Lady Divine. And Lady Divine sent us some treats to the studio, and it's these little pops. Right, it looked like a
giant Tootsie Roll pop, but it's not, and it's much better.
Yeah.
It's right, J. Rod.
Yeah, it's like a cake, and it's so moist, so rich. That this is plenty. If you take one bite, it's very rich. So we would like to thank you, Lady Divine. She's located in Clarksville, Tennessee. She's a great fan of the show, and we have to have her back on our podcast soon.
And if other listeners and followers want to send us some treats, we'll kindly accept them.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to get into our podcast. We are a barbershop in Indianapolis 421, but we need to have a theme in this podcast. I think it's the truth. Tell them the truth.
Yes.
I think that's what it's going to be.
That's what we do. We stand up for the truth, J-Rod.
All right, so with saying that, I'm going to tell the truth.
Ooh.
Just let it go, bro.
Yes.
Just let it go. If your hairline looks like this, let it go. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is a crazy. Look at that hairline. You gotta let it go, KC.
Yeah. I mean, his hairline about the same as Stephen A. Somebody got to explain to him that in his situation, less is more.
Yeah, less is more. Absolutely. And they got a little caption on the bottom here. You was reading that earlier.
If he's facing you, I bet his hairline look like it's on somebody else's head. Oh, man. Hey, I didn't write that. I just read it.
But I'm telling, we are talking about telling the truth on this podcast.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say, and I'm telling the truth, in the barbershop sometimes,
Yeah.
They have products called enhancers. And it's supposed to enhance the haircut, not make the haircut.
Yes.
Now, you will make a mistake if you try to make it the haircut.
Oh.
Something like this.
And that don't last.
No, it don't last at all. It don't last at all. In fact, this is a demonstration where if you use too much, look what happened in this experience in this restaurant. I just got to show you. I'm going to refresh that real quick because I want to go from the very beginning. Because it is quite a clip.
Please. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry, Joe. Oh, man, he just compounded it.
So, what you about to get into?
I'm gonna just head out, maybe I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh, you going to the bathroom?
Yeah, I just need to get all my stuff.
Okay. All right.
Excuse.
I'll be right here. I'm going to get the check real quick.
All right. So then, the waiter walks up. Accidentally, he put my drink down first. Accidentally spilled water on the dude that I'm on a date with. Do you know this nigga like me like Adidas stripes of Beijing? Like
Adidas stripes.
Who you telling my business?
No. That's him, bro. Yeah, that's him. Oh, this is my Uber. Right here.
See, that's why, Casey, you can't live a lie.
Yeah.
Embrace it, bro. We're going to tell you the truth. If you got to put that much enhancer on your head, you got to be aware of the risk.
I feel like that restaurant owe him at least a free dinner.
I like when that lady come out. Now, I'm going to switch gears because this one guy, he's very truthful. Have you ever seen it's a movie, or not a movie, it has a series and they talk about people that weigh 600 pounds.
Oh, my 600-pound life.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I love the doctor.
Yeah.
He's so direct.
Yeah, Mr. Blunt.
Yeah, because that's Mr. Blunt right there. He'll tell you like it is. He don't care if you weigh 600 pounds or 6 pounds.
But he needs to go. The people on this show are delusional.
Well, that's a true fact here. Listen to this part right here, KC. And I want you to tell me if this guy being quite honest. Just listen to him.
My horizons to vegetables because I'm a pretty picky eater.
You're not a picky eater if you're 600 pounds.
J-Rod, that's facts. That's facts right there.
Is that facts?
Yeah.
I'm a picky eater. You can't be a picky eater when you're 600 pounds.
I mean, you picking up stuff all the time, but that's what you mean.
Good point. That's what you mean. It's so be it. This is another little. Now this was. When I'm talking about enhancers, I'm talking about hairstyle because first of all, I used to go. I'm switching gears over real quick, and I know I'm fumbling with my words here, but
Yeah.
this is a true statement. When I used to go to church, you know how people they call themselves catching the Holy Ghost,
Yeah.
and they start moving all crazy and stuff. I used to say, quit scaring the kids. I mean, that's what they do. They scare the kids.
If they was in my aisle, I'd move to another aisle, another row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know,
It would be falling all out on me.
so I think that this is the sensitivity of a baby, right? And so that's why I brought that up. This is the sensitivity of a baby. I want you to watch his reaction. Just watch his reaction when he took this thing off. All right, he's playing with it, of course. He's playing with it.
Why is this? Yeah.
That's why I call scaring the kids, Casey.
Oh, he's terrified.
Yeah, be truthful. Let the baby see the natural in you. Let me see the natural in you.
Well, you can't just give it to him all at once after you've been deceiving him, for a long time, So you gotta gradually ease him into that.
You gotta slowly but surely let them in there. Now this lady now, she's being truthful because this hairstyle.
Oh,
Yeah, this is a hell of a hairstyle. I gotta hear this.
Come here. Look at this. Now what the Grace Jones, Stevie Wonder, baby side hair, Predator, with a treat in the back, skin fade braids going on here. Hell, while you at it, you should have just kept a bang to cover up that forehead.
you know what though?
What? What was that?
I think she should date that earlier guy.
The guy that had the stuff spilled on his head?
No, the one whose hair was in the back of his head. That would be a nice little couple there.
Oh, that may be true. That may be true. The one that looked like his forehead.
But surprisingly though, she actually had a really good line on her head though. Where those braids were, it was actually a pretty even line around there. Now it was all in the back of her head. But,
Yeah, I was curious.
but it was a good line.
I don't know what you was looking at, Casey. We was not looking at the same thing. I was just so memorized.
It was easy.
Mesmerized.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It's one thing about being truthful. Sometimes you have to apologize, but everybody don't apologize the same way. I can tell you that right now. Now, here's how Latino apologize. It's a little different. It's a little different what you're accustomed to.
Yeah, it's a different culture.
Yeah.
Let's see what they got.
All right, let's go.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry you're so disrespectful. In the middle of our argument, you stopped responding. Like, what's your excuse for that?
Because you ran me over with the car.
Oh, so just because you get hit by a Nissan Altima, now you can't talk?
I was unconscious.
You're telling me you couldn't man up, look me in my eyes, and speak to me?
It was kind of difficult because you had me in a headlock and everything was blurry because I just got hit by a car.
If you couldn't handle a Latina, then why do you own one? You wanted a strong woman with her own opinions, right?
Well, you're a little too strong.
Oh, jeez, don't play the victim. You started this argument.
All I said was you should park closer to the curb. Next thing I knew, your headlights were in my face.
Look, I guess I'll let you make it up to me. Take me to Taco Tuesday?
So, you're not gonna apologize?
Look, I'm sorry you're such a little wimp who can't even take a hit.
I guess that...
Man, I don't know how much of an apology that was.
Yeah, she pretty but deadly.
This thing was kind of hard when you had me in the headlock.
You can't take a hit. Just ran over you. Come on now.
I think that is hilarious. I think that is hilarious. But, there was another TV show. I think this TV show came out about the 70s. This lady, to give you a little bit of background, Casey. She was about 90, 94, 95. And she used to always give out advice to people.
Oh, okay.
She was like a grandmother, if you will.
Yeah.
Because grandmother gave out great advice. And she got so popular, people used to call in to the show and ask for advice, and then she gave advice right on
like
the air.
Like a TV version of Dear Abby.
Yeah, okay, I guess you could say that. Now, before I go on, I got to pause here, Casey, because I know for a fact that you have a frat shirt on Phi Beta Sigma, and that is a fine shirt.
It is. It's beautiful.
That is right. So if anybody out there have any Greek and you need something, go ahead and write into Barbershop.talk, because we still have our sponsor, King Cat. He can make all this for you. So I just had to point it out, Casey, because I need to get one of those.
Woo!
Yeah, I do have to get one of those.
That's top notch. Good job, King Cat.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna move on to a little show about this 90-year-old, 95-year-old, and she's right here in this screen right here, and you gotta listen to it because I think she's giving that motherly advice.
Okay.
Jersey. My husband's always complaining about working so hard.
New
How do I
5
get him off the
points.
couch to mow the lawn?
Why can't you mow the lawn? No, you have a riding lawnmower. There's no problem. And you can certainly get your fat ass on that.
My name is Tiffany. I'm from Colorado. My boyfriend always has his hands down his pants while we're watching TV. How do I get him to stop?
God. Well, what does he think he's going to run away? I said, he's got to hold on to it. I don't know, there's something wrong with him. Nobody's going to up and steal it from him.
I'm Matt from Fullerton, California, and my question is, how many gingerbread men can I fit in my mouth at once?
Now, you know, if that is not the guy, you know something, you really make me mad when you come with me a question like that. You put, I don't care, just clean up your ass as far as I'm concerned. What the hell are you going to say?
Hi, my name's Lindsay Miller. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. When a man has a lot of sex partners, he's called a stud. But what do you call a woman with a lot of partners?
She's a whore.
From Moultrie, Georgia. I hate the black spot in Jay's hair. I think he should dye it. What do you think?
The only way Jay Leno looks good is the way he is now. Because Jay Leno is not good looking. Well, he doesn't have a good body. He has no blood at all. But it's flat as a flivver.
Some people out, and I'm from Porterville, California, and I would like to know what advice you can give to newlyweds to achieve a happy, successful marriage.
The advice I would give newlyweds is never go to bed mad at each other. That's the most important thing. And another important thing is to always, the woman should always keep herself clean and attractive in every sense of the word. Keep yourself clean. Keep Miss Puss clean. Put on your bitch down. Get a little perfume on you. Crawl in that bed. And I guarantee you, Miss Puss will have a clean.
Mary Rooney from Boston. Now that you're on TV and a role model for youngsters, don't you think you should stop using bad language?
Hell no.
I like her. You know what? She reminds me of my aunt. Really? That's down to earth, real good advice. Sage advice.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Mr. Howard, you had a chance to kick the tires on Mr. Coleman's plea agreement?
Well, what we got going
Are
on?
we ready to sign off on that today?
Somebody always want to pop into our podcast. We can't allow that today.
No, we got too much stuff to cover.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that person off because now you were saying about your aunt?
Yeah, I think that woman, she reminded me of my aunt and, you know, with her real down-to-earth, blunt advice, man. And that was great advice and great delivery of it.
Okay, all right.
The way she says it captures your attention so that you pay attention to it. So, you know, she don't need to change her style.
Well, if you can live up to 90 or 95 years old, you got my attention.
Yeah.
Anything you say, I'm going to follow. Now, I'm going to move into the meat of our conversation because, you know, we promised our listeners that we will always talk about politics on the show. Now, I do have to say we encourage our listeners to get out there to vote, and the ones that got out there to vote, good for you.
Yes.
Now, we may not have been victorious this time, but if we stand strong and continue to build our numbers, we can be victorious because we need to be. I mean, it's getting really bad out there. And it's going to get worse, KC.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, the man in his first 100 days is already dismantled the government.
Dismantled in the government, defining court orders about deporting folks. It's terrible. But I can't say this, you know, I believe that African American, people of color, is not panicking because we've been through a lot already. So we kind of mentally prepared to deal with struggles.
Right. I mean, we don't want to go through them, but we've been through them, and we're like, well, we got to go through another one. No big deal.
Yeah, simple as that.
Man, I don't think everybody can handle that like that.
No, I don't think everybody in every culture is not prepared. You know, some cultures not used to be hearing the word no and don't know how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But this wraps up about the African American.
Yeah.
What can you
threaten black people with that we haven't already lived through before? We already couldn't go to your schools. We already couldn't live in your neighborhood. We already couldn't shop in your store. We already had to sit in the back of the bus. We already filled out your jail. We already had our zip codes redlined. We already had our votes suppressed. We already had our families separated. We already had our men profiled. We already had our women objectified. What you think you gonna do new that's gonna be able to intimidate us? Black people got soundtrack music. Yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil.
For we are the baddest mofos this earth has ever seen.
KC go crazy. KC go crazy.
That's right. We ain't fearful. We done been there. We ain't worried about it. We done took it and stood strong.
That's right. You know, now I will say that I'm pleased, but I'm displeased. Right?
Yeah.
I'm pleased that we have a lot of protesters, or a lot of protests out there.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing, I think, KC, is that this makes me sad. Is the media's not covering that. Right?
They're not.
Yeah, they're not covering that, and it's sad to see. You know, now I see that a lot in social media where they ask for people of color to come and join people in their protests, and I think African Americans, we're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Join us when we need y'all.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I think this lady sums it up. She said, "Black Americans are chilling. In this situation, we're good."
Yeah.
Us mad extra bad, don't they, y'all? First it was calling everything woke. Then it was take away critical race theory. Then it was kill affirmative action. Then they wanted to annihilate DEI. Now they want to take out segregation from federal contracts. I'm here to tell you we don't give a fuck. We're not taking to the streets to come and parade and march. You're not going to get us in neighborhoods vandalizing properties. You're not going to...
I got finish it.
They want us mad extra bad, don't they, y'all? First it was calling everything woke. Then it was take away critical race theory. Then it was kill affirmative action. Then they wanted to annihilate DEI. Now they want to take out segregation from federal contracts. I'm here to tell you we don't give a fuck. We're not taking to the streets to come and parade and march. You're not going to get us in neighborhoods vandalizing properties. You're not going to declare curfews because the blacks are running in the streets. We're chilling, man. We don't care. We're letting you show your true colors. We're letting you expose yourselves for who you are. And the world sees just who you are. Eventually, you'll deport enough Hispanics where they'll start to wake up. And you'll push out African ambassadors and they'll start to wake up. And when the vets lose all of their benefits, they'll start to wake up. And when the teachers realize that their classrooms have doubled in size and there's not enough teachers to fill these roles, they'll start to wake up. And the IRS workers, and so on and so forth. And eventually, they will realize who you are too.
Wow.
Yeah. And she sums it up perfectly because, you know, like we don't like what's going on, but we ain't gonna get bent all out of shape. We done been through worse, and we done been through this before. Now, plus we know that what he's doing is going to impact a whole lot of other people that didn't think it was coming their way. And we're ready to see how they react to it.
Yeah, I think that's a critical point, KC. Because I think that some of the people might have supported different type of policies in some of these executive orders, not thinking that it was going to impact them.
Yeah.
And now that it's impacting them, that they begin to think differently. they begin to share and understand the pain of others. And on top of that, they realize that it's just simply wrong. It is not the right thing to do. So I think that it's going to be, what is that, buyer remorse?
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, I think that they're feeling it.
Yeah.
And they didn't think it's going to impact a lot of these, and it's hitting the red states the hardest, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, and you know, they were hearing about all these things leading up to the election and how it was going to impact us. And, you know, they was, you know, like, yeah, let's do that. And now that these things are impacting them the way they thought it was just going to impact us, they don't like it.
No, they don't like it at all. And in fact, a lot of things that he's put into place, it has a title for the papers, but it doesn't have any bite.
Yes.
Like, let me explain that, because he talked about he signed an executive party where segregation is put back into play.
Yeah.
Now that's kind of like what the media is saying, but in reality, I found this video that really breaks it down.
Yeah.
This lady right here really breaks it down, because if you hear the title, you know, he put segregation back into play, you think about, oh Lord, here we go back to separate but equal, you know, different colors, a color bathroom and a white bathroom and all that separation stuff. But this lady breaks it down. So I just want you to listen to this, Casey, and then I'm going to have you give your thoughts after the video.
All right.
Become legal again this week. I'm Cara Fontano, and I'm a civil rights lawyer. Let's talk about it. Earlier this week, news headlines began going around talking about whether or not an executive order signed by President Donald Trump actually rolled back the clock on segregation. The reality is, although it made a lot of headlines, that order really didn't do much of anything. The executive order that Donald Trump signed actually talked about whether or not there needed to be language in every federal contract prohibiting segregation. But it did nothing to disturb all the laws that are currently on the books discussing segregation and prohibiting racial discrimination. So despite removing that language from contracts, it's actually quite redundant. There are several laws on the books that prohibit racial discrimination in the United States, some of which prohibit racial discrimination in housing, in contracting, and in the workplace. And nothing that Donald Trump wrote in any executive order will disturb that. The only way for an existing federal law to be overwritten is for either Congress to rewrite the law and pass it through both houses and get it signed by the president, or for the Supreme Court to overrule a federal statute because it's unconstitutional. Neither of those
things happen, Casey.
Right. And you know, this is a perfect summation of who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump likes headlines, sensationalism. Donald Trump don't read stories. You know that they've given him these briefs about all kind of important stuff that the president's supposed to be aware of. He never reads it. He looks at the headline, and that's as far as it goes. And that's what he likes. So all these proclamations that he's doing, these are basically just press photo ops, right? Most of them are illegal and can't be implemented. But unfortunately, the media doesn't cover the fact that a lot of these things that he's doing are not really valid.
Right.
You know, people hear the headlines and they think, oh, that's it. And so you have to read the story.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I also think they should cover, every time there's a contradiction in what he says or what he do, it should be called out in the media.
Yes.
It should be called out in the media. You remember when they were talking about electrical vehicles in the beginning?
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying now?
Yeah. I mean, Trump was one of the biggest critics of electrical vehicles.
Yes. I'm going to remind you what they were saying. And that's it, I mean the Republicans.
Just wait until you're forced to drive an electric vehicle.
Why is it that these big, powerful car companies with guys that are making $35 million a year immediately quit? They say, you want electric vehicles, we'll give it to you, when the damn things don't go far enough and they're too expensive. And I'm not in that business, but I know a lot about it. They don't go far enough.
All right. You know a lot about it. I'm not in the business about it. I know a lot about it. I don't drive electric cars, but I fly electric planes. And I know a lot about it.
He knows as much about electrical vehicles as he knows about running casinos.
You're absolutely right.
And you're gonna have the same result for both.
But that what you just see is reminders. I'm gonna watch a little bit more of this.
Yeah.
Day one, I will terminate Crooked Joe's ridiculous electric vehicle mandate. They're very expensive and they can all be made in China. They don't work in the cold and they don't go far.
Going on now with the White House Tesla.
Yeah, and this is flip-flop. First they said all this, and now look at the president. He did this actually on the
grounds of the White House.
Grounds of the White House. Had an auto dealership, a garage sale, if you will, at the White House.
Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe. It's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming cyber trucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
You think gas?
Tesla. It's all computer.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm going to tell you, Casey. I'm going to tell you, should have came down. Now, I know you can't afford eggs, but you can pay $35 for this electric car.
Yeah, get one of these Teslas. But you know what, J. Rod?
What's that, Casey?
He has less credibility than a used car salesman. Yeah.
I mean,
it's wow. It's like he said it for the first time. Well, this panel is computer. Oh, no.
Not computerized, it's computer. It's just, I really think that we know who Donald Trump is.
Yeah.
We know that. Mm-hmm. And I think that now it's time for the Democratic Party to change their focus to not on his personality, but how his policy is impacting your pocket.
Right, because the Republicans know who Donald Trump is too. This ain't nothing new to them. His man been exposed for years. We know who he is,
mm-hmm.
but they're supporting him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now that these policies are negatively impacting them, it's time for Democrats to let them know how these policies, why these policies are negatively affecting them.
Well, absolutely. In history, have shown in this country that we vote by our pocketbooks.
Yes.
So I'm going to get some more information because I promise our listeners that I'll get as much information I can about the political arena and Donald Trump, and I'm not going to disappoint.
I just want to remind everybody that although you're hearing in the news that Tesla stock has fallen so far that the biggest investors are asking Elon to step down as CEO, remember that these investors didn't ask him to do that when he did the salute. They didn't ask him to do that when he made racist comments. They didn't ask him to do that when his DOGE basically had the government do horrible things to the populace of the United States and cause thousands and tens of thousands of people to lose their jobs. Remember that the only reason that they are asking him to step down is because they are losing too much money for them, and it's making them uncomfortable. They don't give a shit about the rest of everybody else. This is still only about them, and that means they haven't lost enough money. So keep making them lose money. Keep up the fight.
That's a good point, Casey.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point. Is that they're not doing it for the right thing. It's because it's hurting their pocketbook.
Right. And just like they want to change because of their pocketbook, or the rest of America is going to want to change because of their pocketbook.
Well, you're absolutely right on that. And I think we should be learning something here about our country. We should be learning that it's all about the mighty dollar. We haven't learned that if you chase a dollar, misfortune's going to come your way. We just haven't learned that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's certain groups that have heavy regret for their vote.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Latino population.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing how the Latinos had a song about vote for Trump. You know, I don't know if you kept up. It was this band, right?
Yeah.
I said it was maybe a 14-piece band talking about vote for Trump. And I don't know if you read the news, but 7 of them was deported now.
Yeah, it's a small band.
It was a small band now. They had at the time they never could imagine.
They lost their rhythm section.
Well, I tell you what, it says here, Trump throws Marco Rubio, which is apparently the only Latino in his cabinet, under the bus.
Yeah.
I'm going to demonstrate that. See, it doesn't matter. He's pulling the same play out of the old book. Throw the person of color under the bus.
Yesterday and today was the best example of what happened to people that are Latinos for Trump or blacks for Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Marco Rubio, which is, as far as I remember, the only Latino in the cabinet, is a perfect scapegoat for what's going on. However, when Trump was asked about the violation of the judge order deporting people to El Salvador and not even being sure they're really criminals, his answer was this.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it. But Marco Rubio's done a great job, and he wanted him out, and we go along with that.
2 problems with that. 1, the proclamation was made by him. 2, even on the records, on the federal records, is his signature on that order for deportation. And what does he do? 1, he acts like a coward and denies it. And 2, throws Marco Rubio under the bus. Why? Because when shit hits the fan, it's going to be Marco Rubio's fault, not his. You heard him say it. We go with what he says. In that way, he can wash his hands of anything. Typical dictator. Always has a scapegoat. It's never his fault. It's always somebody else's. I'm Alex. This is my rant, and I'm out.
Now, Alex, that was a good job.
Yeah.
Alex, that was a good job.
Videographer of what?
But, Trump has always thrown somebody under the bus. You know, if it wasn't one of his lawyers, it was another one of his lawyers, or one of his business partners, or in the case of his businesses, it was the investors.
Yeah.
You know, he even claimed bankruptcy while keeping all the money, and all the investors lost the money. He's always thrown people under the bus. And for these people that think, yeah, if I get in with Trump, I'm going to profit from it. Look what happens to all of them.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good point. But I tell you what, I have never seen this happen in the courtroom. Never. Now, Trump wanted to deport these people, and the court order came out and says, nope, we're going to put a pause on it. And the plane was in the air with the people they deported.
Yeah.
And so he's supposed to turn the plane around.
Yeah.
But he did not.
He did not.
So it pissed the judge off. The judge says he'll have a conversation. And he said, he was talking to Donald Trump about it, and Donald Trump said, so what you going to do about it? Now, I tell you why he said that. He has immunity. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
As long as he's doing it in the capacity of the presidency, he has immunity.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything to him. Now, that's why I think that you have to think through the entire process. We didn't make enough noise when they said we're going to argue in front of the Supreme Court that the president has full immunity as he being the president.
Yeah.
Now, here's a fear that I have. Suppose at the end of the term, just suppose, and I'm going to ask our listeners, just suppose at the end of the term that Donald Trump said, I ain't going anywhere, and it is for national security. And he do all these illegal things to stay in power.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's doing it under the order. He's done it as an act of the president.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Well, he tried that the first time. All right.
Yep.
But now he has a more orchestrated plan for this next go round, and he has no plans to exit that office. So, we might have to remove him before his 4 years is up.
Are you suggesting something Casey on the podcast?
I am.
Okay.
But remove him illegally.
Oh, okay.
Illegally.
All right. Hey, this is a lady that helped us out at Barbershop.talk. Is that all those executive orders or all those headlines that she takes the time to do follow-up stories to tell you about it. So we was blessed enough, and I'm thankful that she sent this video out, and we got a hold of it at Barbershop.talk. And this, she's telling you updates on some executive orders. So just don't listen to the headlines. Follow it.
Gettysburg Address 7 L's ago. You finally released that executive order about dismantling the Department of Education that you've been teasing for like 4 weeks and had to rewrite 1,000 times. It doesn't actually say anything. In fact, it actually says that you are going to continue to provide essential services. And then your poor little press secretary had to go out into the White House lawn and say with her mouth that you know that you can't do that. Because the only thing that you're king of is the golden toilet. Meanwhile, Elon Musk had to declare an emergency all-hands that he was live streaming on Twitter for Tesla employees, which he's never done before. In it, he tried to boost employee morale by citing sales quotes from last year and begging everyone not to sell their stock. You know who else did that? Enron. And while he was on stage fighting for his life, Canadians slashed the tires of 80 Teslas in Ontario. Oh, and your showrooms are starting to close. Oh, and he got a summons from the SEC. Oh, and literally every single Cybertruck got recalled. Oh, and the trade-ins for Teslas on hit records. You're trying to erase the existence of anyone on the Pentagon website who served in the military and wasn't a white man. We did not like this. Not only did you put them back, you had to quietly reassign the Pentagon spokesperson who did it. Why would you do that, man? Bring him on out. We just want to talk. Anytime you start tweeting about how we need to impeach federal judges, I know you've lost some kind of court case. And look at that! You lost a court case! You demanded that New York end its congestion pricing. You gave them until today to do so, and the governor has just been flatly ignoring you because no one cares what you think. And you completely caved. Also, the DOJ is starting to bleed attorneys, and industries are starting to form new unions. Doge had to delete over 100 government leases it said it canceled on its website because they couldn't figure out how to actually cancel them. Good job. And the National Park Service is rehiring all 1,000 of the probationary employees that you fired. You released thousands of pages of JFK's documents, and the only new information contained within any of it was a bunch of people's social security numbers that you're now having to clean up. I couldn't be this incompetent if you paid me money. It's okay, babe. Maybe this is the weekend the ghost of your daddy comes back from the grave and tells you he loves you.
I like her. Now, we're going to see a lot more of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to see a lot more of her because I do like that she's doing that background work.
Yes.
And after the dust has settled,
right,
she will go ahead and
that's a message to us and to our followers and listeners. You know, we see these headlines, and sometimes it makes you upset or whatever, but you got to read and investigate the story to find out what's going on, and then follow up, because, you know, you'll have a big press conference one day, but that's not where the story ends. So, you know, he'll announce he's going to do something, but in the end, the court say, no, you ain't doing that, or it turns out this decree that he was doing, he knew he couldn't do all along anyway, but just wanted to grandstand.
That's right, grandstand. All right, well, I think it's time to bring our podcast to the end, but I would like to remind our listeners, if you like our content, please like and share and subscribe. We are trying to get our numbers up, and we know that we need you in order to do that. So I think at this time, we're just going to go ahead and close out.
I want to thank you for listening to Barbershop.talk podcast. Please tell your family, friends, and enemies about our podcast. Barbershop.talk, available on your favorite podcast platforms. Let's have peace in the streets. Be safe, be wise, and be loved. And we say, go Mob!
Ah, bad bitch. Money count on, cash on me. Shawty blow my phone, that's corny. That's a no-no. I'm tryna hustle.